All right, you're looking at Charlie Kirk at a Turning Point USA event. He founded Turning Point USA. He is the president of Turning Point, and he's one of the most influential political figures in the country, if not the world, when you think about it. And you know what? Because he's conservative, he and his group are often under fire. But I was shocked to see this. I've been shocked to see it overall, but these anti-Semitic displays, and this one went further. They seem to be beating up a man because he's on the other side politically, maybe because he's a Christian. And the individual being beaten up here, assaulted, works for Charlie Kirk at Turning Point USA. Charlie joins us now. Charlie, always great to have you. How are you, first of all? How are things overall?
Good.
How you been?
Thank you. I'm doing well. I wish my country was doing well. But thank you, Greg, for the kind words. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. Listen, yeah, we are in a state of chaos, and I have been shocked by the overt anti-Semitism. Your thoughts on the overt anti-Semitism we've seen coast to coast, and tell us a little bit more about what happened to your staffer.
Yeah, it's Jew hatred. And what happened in this particular instance was a targeted hate crime from Hamas sympathizers in Chicago. I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, so I know the area very well. This occurred in Skokie, Illinois. Some of your viewers might remember in Skokie, Illinois, that is where the neo-Nazis marched a couple decades ago, where the ACLU actually came in and defended their right to march. A lot of Holocaust survivors lived and had kids and grandkids in Skokie, Illinois. So there was a Stand with Israel event in Skokie, Illinois, and then there was a separate Muslim Brotherhood Hamas event that was going to take place in downtown Chicago, about 20 miles away. The Muslim groups decided to cancel their event and put their event outside of the Stand with Israel event. And as you can see with the video and the B-roll here, they formed a mob. And anyone that was not able to get into the Stand with Israel event was basically left as sitting targets. So Peter Christos, one of our Turning Point USA high school reps, his full-time job is to start high school chapters, went to the event. We had some Turning Point USA Jewish students that were attending there. And he realized that there were some elderly Jewish couples that were not able to get there in time, and that they were basically sitting ducks for the Muslim Brotherhood activists to target. Peter Christos decided not to go into the event and to actually help these the elderly Jewish couple to their car. That is when they got surrounded by the mob. Peter then got intercepted by the Muslim mob and basically received a concussion and several body blows. The police officer didn't really do much there. You have to imagine the police officer probably felt outnumbered by the mob. And you could see that right there is a hate crime. That they are there for a reason of anti-Jewish, anti-Christian hatred. The police officer does administer first aid, and I hope people are arrested to the fullest extent of the law. And Greg, I don't like doing this. It's kind of a simple take, but it's necessary. Imagine if every one of those attackers were wearing MAGA hats and they were targeting Muslims or black people. It would be the #1 story in the country.
Absolutely. And when we're getting signals from the White House like this, I was utterly shocked, but it actually happened. This is yesterday. Karine Jean-Pierre, who seems to be rooting for the bad guys in this situation, along with the administration. Take a look. This happened yesterday in the White House.
Level of concern right now about the potential rise of anti-Semitism in light of everything that's going on in Israel?
So a couple of things. We have not seen any credible threats. I know there's been always questions about credible threats, and so just want to make sure that that's out there. But look, Muslim and those perceived to be Muslim have endured a disproportionate number of hate-fueled attacks.
They're lying about America, and forget threats. This is actually happening, violence against Jews. Your reaction to what we just saw?
Well, I believe this weekend a synagogue leader in Michigan was stabbed to death. Now, the motive behind that remains to be seen, but that would be nice to be mentioned by Karine Jean-Pierre. And it's very interesting, and she's kind of showing the contradiction between the activist left and the Democrat Party. Karine Jean-Pierre is defending the radical Muslim community, acting as if they're victims, when if Karine Jean-Pierre actually went to Gaza herself, they would throw her off the top of a building because she's lesbian. So I don't know why she's going above and beyond to try to make overtures to a group of people that literally wouldn't allow her to live in some of their home countries. And Greg, this goes to a dynamic, and I hope more American Jews start to wake up, my Jewish brethren that I care so much about, that we've disagreed on politics, that the entire regime views American Judaism now as the oppressor and everyone else as the oppressed. The same Marxist dynamics that BLM was built on, the same activist-type chants and incantations that the trans movement was built on, that there's inherently an oppressor and oppressed dynamic and the whole country is configured that way, is now being used with the Israel-Hamas Jewish-Muslim issue. And we're starting to see more and more American Jews, especially when it comes to philanthropy, to college campuses, start to recognize this. But we must call it out for what it is, Jew hatred.
Wow. Very powerful, very true. And by the way, we know that Karine Jean-Pierre is a lesbian because she can't not talk about being a lesbian. She says it in every interview. She said it, I think it was her first statement from the podium. You know, look at me.
Yes.
This is my orientation, as if anybody cares. Charlie,
Correct.
Overall, as we wrap up, I'm looking at a headline right now. The far right, you know, the New York Times complaining about the far right. To me, MAGA, far right has a negative connotation. I don't see MAGA as far right. I don't see it as, I see it as common sense. But far right is a pejorative, the way they're using it. And I have never identified as far right. How do we handle that as, you know, conservatives, MAGA, whatever, you know, what we believe in? They're trying to diminish us and malign us with the far right label, aren't they?
Yes, of course, and it is a dog whistle and it is coded language. They're really calling you a Nazi, they just don't want to say it yet, right? That's why they call you far right. Because they want to be able to shut you up and silence you, so if they can put you on the fringes, then they can use the instruments of the regime to shut down your social media accounts, shut down your bank accounts, and then restrict your ability to speak. So, look, how do you respond? You have to punch back twice as hard. I think we do a great job of this at Turning Point USA, where we play offense on high school and college campuses, where we defend our viewpoint even in the most hostile places imaginable. But you also don't accept the label or the term. You have to know what you believe and why you believe it, and then expose it. I mean, it's funny. I get called a fascist when I go to college campuses by people that are trying to cancel my event, smash windows, and pull fire alarms. And they're the one calling me a fascist when I say if you disagree with me, you're allowed to go to the front of the line and say whatever you want. So, Greg, it gets at this place where you have to show, not tell. Show them the other side that they're the authoritarians, they are the brown shirts, they're the ones that want to restrict differences of opinion. We're the ones that want a free society. Anyone that wants a free society is on our team. I think that is middle of the road, not far right.
Absolutely. Once again, Charlie Kirk, thank you for dropping by. Everybody should go to Turning Point
Big fan.
USA.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you. TPUSA.com. TPUSA. We'll be right back.